Welcome to 2 on the 10.
Welcome back, episode 5, 2 on a 10. I'm Paul.
I'm Mitch.
Greedy Nick.
Greedy.
Yes. Hey, before we get started on today's show, I just want to thank everybody for the love and support we've been getting. The feedback's been incredible. I just want to say, tell your friends and family, all your loved ones, just thank you.
Tell your enemies. Tell everybody.
To everybody, just go out there. It's just been great. The love has been amazing.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can support the 2 on the 10 podcast per day. No, but seriously, no, the feedback, the support. We're genuinely humbled, grateful, and thankful. When you definitely want to build with you guys, so please leave comments, suggestions, also like, share, participate in this whole process, and let's see where we take this. I do want to say a quick thank you to one of my boys that I go way back with. My boy, I'm going to say for now, Nuclear Nick from Sirius Radio, program director over there. He's checked out our shows and has given us some good critique, and said he's been cracking up, so, but no, he definitely, I definitely appreciate that feedback, and thank you to everybody again that's been tuning in.
Shout out to Sirius Radio. Thank you for the love.
Definitely. And everybody, make sure you follow us on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. All of them are at 2 on the 10 podcast. So make sure you jump on there, check them out, like them, watch our videos, and support us. Thank you all for doing that, especially you, Mom. Thank you, Mom.
What about MySpace?
Coming soon.
All right, let's get right into it. First topic today, AI. Man,
Allen Iverson?
No, we're talking about like more of an iRobot. You got this Chat GPT, copy AI. Are we going towards, Terminator? Like I said, iRobot. What's going to be the effects of AI on us going forward in the future?
Whew. I'm supposed to handle that one? First of all, well, let me just start by saying this. If we're talking AI, let me just do this real quick. How I look.
No, you look amazing.
Now, so, we can touch on many subjects. I'll just start with first of all, I'm going to throw this out there to all of us at the table. What companies do you think are going to be the trendsetters in AI? Obviously, I'm going to say OpenAI.
Yeah, Tesla.
Tesla.
Tesla, of course.
OpenAI.
Google's got theirs. Microsoft's got theirs.
Also, obviously, I was looking at another show that I was speaking on. I wish I had to shout them out though, but they were saying, one of the cats on there was saying Amazon.
Oh, really? Amazon
they got the structure. They got they got the systems in place, and they got definitely the power and the.
They got the logistics. Definitely.
So, that's what makes Amazon so successful is the logistics.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting on the AI's part. Who would have ever thought? Just my own thoughts. Back in the day when I was watching, and I'm gonna specify. So you said iRobot. I'm gonna go back a little deeper. I'm gonna say Total Recall.
Oh wow, there you go.
When I was watching that movie, I never thought in a million years we would get to a place where you could question what's real, what's not, what memories you have, what memories are real, who's a real person, who's not. But it's eerily kind of. Again, is life imitating art? Is art imitating life?
Right. Or were we getting programmed early?
I don't doubt that. Yeah, the same people writing those scripts, writing this script.
I always wondered where the 3-tittied girl was at when I was growing up.
Oh, I bet you did, Nick.
Yeah, I did.
That was your favorite part of the movie.
Hey, was there anything else in that movie?
Wow. But no, so that was just something that kind of always is in the back of my mind. That specific movie, and definitely a few others. A couple things I found interesting. We mentioned some of the companies that we think are going to be players in the industry. There's one kid, and I want to say what's his company called? Brink Drones. I think his name's Blake Resnick out of Vegas. I want to say he's 23 years old.
Okay.
He supposedly is going to have I want to say an attack drone. But a drone that it looks like the SWAT teams are looking into, that's what he's pushing now. I guess he came up with the idea. And again, I'm not going to say he didn't, or it just always makes me wonder. The dude looks like the FTX guy.
Okay.
Which, by the way, I'll touch on in a second. He's got the Napster hair, everything. I mean, he looks like his little brother. But he was a founder, I guess, when he was 17 years old, and during the Vegas shootings, he, wanted to create something that would help, situations like that. So he created this, attack drone thing, to supposedly, assist with the SWAT team. I wish he would have helped. To be honest with you, speaking of Vegas shootings, I wish he would have helped. With people understanding what the 500 plus 911 calls were really talking about.
Oh, that's another show.
Compared to the narrative that was sold to everybody. But again, I always do this, but whatever. Sorry, not sorry. But no, so he's got a lot of heavy backers. So this 23-year-old kid is backed by one of the founders of OpenAI. He's backed by a former Secretary of Defense. And he was financially backed by the Sam, what's his name, Bankman-Fried kid or whatever, the FTX.
Bankman.
Yeah, Bankman. Interesting. Yeah, interesting name, Bankman. So definitely some power players. And this kid actually took a lot of heat when he was, I want to say, was it 2018 or so, when he made a statement that he wanted to test these drones on immigrants crossing the border.
Interesting.
Now, he did say, in all fairness, it wasn't shoot and kill them, but it was like tase and stun them and stuff. He got a little bit heat.
Like cattle, they're using immigrants like cattle, huh?
Yeah, so I mean, but anyway, it sounds like a great story. Like I said, I'm always going to say narratives build people to buy in, and then what happens afterwards, is a whole nother story. AI, it's something that, real quick before I pass it on, it is something that there are, I don't want to just touch on, conspiracy or possibilities where it could go or movies. There is good. There is good in this, of course. There's supposedly you can, eliminate cancers like they couldn't already, but eliminate cancers. There's also, helping assist in surgeries. There's also, different things about brain tumors. I mean, I've even heard things about autism. I've heard a lot of different things that AI is going to be able to do that we haven't been able to, do, or haven't shown, that we, to do. So that's the good part of it. But at the end of the day, it's only as good as the humans running it or programming it until maybe that AI takes over.
Exactly. I mean, because AI is supposed to be able to learn from its surroundings and gather information. I mean, what happens if, just like in the movies, they dictate us as a threat, or a species.
It's funny that you say that. I was just read an article about this kid that was trying to convince one of the AIs that he was going to shut it down. And the AI responded basically saying that it was going to expose his personal information. If he had attacked it, it would attack him back by, making him lose his job. It was threatening his livelihood basically.
Kind of what they do to the politicians now.
It's just kind of crazy that a so-called, artificial intelligence is already attacking people and saying, it basically was saying it's my life or your life and I want to survive basically. So, and that's on a small level. Imagine that, as these things grow and learn and get more advanced.
And that's what I'm saying.
Stuff they could do.
We're going into a, scary time here.
Well, put this way, to touch on what you said for a second, if it decides, for example, let's take the doctor's example. Let's say it can take, it can get rid of cancer, right? What if on a larger scale, it views us as the cancer?
Right. That's what I'm.
What was that movie with the guy from Ferris Bueller, where he's the War Games movie, where basically the AI takes over and is gonna do nuclear.
You're talking about Matthew Broderick,
nuclear holocaust, and then basically it's learning, and he's play tic-tac-toe, and it's learning that there's no winner in certain games. And I mean, what if it comes down to that? The AI gets the technology and the advancement where it can control things like nuclear weapons and even maybe your power. If it wants to shut down the power grid or do different things. Kind of like in Terminator. They have a lot of options.
Yeah, like I said, scary times. Definitely scary times. So, I don't know. I don't know where we're going with this. We're always tinkering with stuff that things aren't broke, but I'll just hope for the best, and I'll hope that positive things will come out of this. So
I'll say this one more thing. What's it called? I'm not going to be a big fan of. Well, I'm not even messing with it. Neuralink or whatever it's going to be, where your thoughts are going to, I know even Elon Musk has, he was a big, he's been pushing that. But then he's also said to stop AI or whatever. You know, I don't know if that's a dog and pony show, but I'm definitely not going to be a fan of anything that's inside your body, which actually, you know, can alter, or well, they know your thoughts, but maybe can even alter your thoughts. And then I'll go one step further too on this subject real quick. As far as AI, you notice we're also seeing a lot of voices of celebrities, voiceovers, you know, that are exactly spot on.
Right.
Yeah, the deep fakes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now we're also seeing the CGIs with the AIs. So we don't know if that's a real message or not a message. Imagine 10 years from now, you get a video of your mom going, "Hey, I need this money right here. Deposit this." You know, that's, you know, I could already see that going this way.
Right.
And then I could even see the end game done on purpose, or maybe not. But probably done on purpose, to sit there to go, well, the only way we really know if this person is, you know, who they say they are is if you have that chip inside of you to prove that that's you. Because all this AI and fakes, and half the world will go, oh, of course, give me the chip. You know, that makes perfect sense. You know?
Yeah. But not all AI is bad. I mean, I have a buddy of mine, his name's Ian Dye. He actually used AI to illustrate a children's book that he wrote. The book's called The Not So Scary Book of Monsters. It's available on Amazon. It's actually a cool little book, but he used AI. He used an AI.
Now, did he use it to write the book, or did he use it?
No,
to
he actually used it to help create the images for the story. So he worked with it over many weeks and trained it on how he wanted the characters to look. And they actually created the images of the characters, the AI did. And he wrote the story along with it, and he published the book. And it's kind of fascinating that, you know, the things you can do, and you can tell AI to write you rap lyrics or make a beat for you. So in the future, there's going to be some interesting things happening with, if an AI writes something, you know, who owns that property? Who owns the proprietary information? You know, if AI writes a book, and I ask it to do it and I feed it the information to make up that book, now is that technically my book, or is that owner property of the company that runs the AI?
How about one step further? Let's say you have an AI producer that makes a Dr. Dre type beat, and you have an AI rapper that makes a Jay-Z type lyric song, and sounds just like them, but it's the AI. I mean, who's going to, in court, are they going to say, no, that's proprietary voice? You know, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I don't know.
Well, you even need entertainers.
Yeah, there's so many ways it can go. I mean, some days AI you can basically say something and it can create like a whole adventure or movie for you to watch without even really needing actors or a script or movies or anything. It can just create it on the fly, and you can sit there and watch a 2-hour movie that basically you design in your head, and then they act it out on the computer.
So you're saying we can get replaced on our own podcast?
Possibly.
I don't think you can come up with an AI Mitch. You know, you one of a kind, baby. You know?
I don't know how if AI can drink that many drinks right now, but
yeah.
But I mean, I also see AI in other places. I mean, you're talking about AI taking over for jobs. I mean, if you just look at like places like, you know, fast food restaurants like McDonald's and Burger King, and Taco Bell, they have these computers now where you can go and order your food. So they don't need someone at the front counter taking your payment. You do it all through a computer. And then some of these places even have like, you know, robots that are flipping your burgers and making your fries. And they don't really even need people to do a lot of this stuff. So as this stuff advances, is it gonna, you know, that's always the big fear, that it's gonna take over people's jobs. But is it really going to do that? I mean, it's already starting to happen. You're looking even at grocery stores, the technology behind checking out and the cameras and knowing what you're scanning and making sure you're scanning everything right, where you're doing all the work and you're basically paying for your groceries and doing all the bagging and the checking out yourself, and it eliminates them having to hire somebody. So
Right. Well, it's gonna eliminate it. It's definitely going to eliminate jobs, but you know, and the flip side of it is we got to figure out something because of inflation. You know, the cost of our food, the cost of living is going up in general. So, you know, robots are you know, cheap. So, you know, you don't need to pay them, you know, weekly at that point. You know, it's going to suck. It's like, you know, one sector is going to die and another one is going to thrive, and we're just going to have to make adjustments on the fly.
The consumers, you know, is going to be able to vote with their dollar or whatever it is, their FedNow or, you know, whatever at that time. But The one thing I do want to see is I can eliminate people spitting in your fast food, or is AI going to do that when they get pissed off?
Well, you know,
I don't know if AI is going to be able to make that, specialty Subway sandwich that you love, Mitch.
Mitch, I think you got a Subway store, don't you?
Well, hey, thanks, Jared, for the plug.
Have it your way.
I guess we go in there on this one.
Yeah, yeah.
right,
Come on, we gotta let the listeners, in on a personal life. This,
we're gonna get
this,
one.
This is one of my favorite stories of our relationship. And I'm kind of happy to be a part of this one. So.
All right, let's tell the infamous Subway story. Let's get it over with. Episode 5.
Right.
All right. So one night, me and Paul were out, and we were going to our local little dive bar, the Hub, out in our part of town at the time.
Shout out to the Hub.
Yep. Shout out to the Hub. And so we're just drinking out there. It was a little slow that night. It was a Saturday night, I remember. And so I'm just on one. I'm like, you know what? I started asking the bartenders because they know my drinks are Red Bull and vodkas. I've been drinking them for 20 freaking years. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Red Bull and vodka, another one. They're going down smooth. I'm like, I wonder what the record is for, Guinness Book of World Record is for most Red Bull and vodkas in one sitting or in one night. And they're all, it can't be more than like 18 or 20. I'm like, 20? I've done that before easily. I've done that a few times.
The champ of Laughlin has.
20, he's done that before he's gone out of the house.
Exactly.
And this is and I'm not, I don't drink Red Bull anymore. This story is one of the reasons and a couple others. So I do not drink Red Bull whatsoever anymore. Mm-hmm. Red Bull has left the chat.
Also, the 2 on the 10 podcast does not condone binge drinking in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
Without a doubt, So with that said, those type of nights existed. I'm like, I could easily drink, 20 Red Bulls and 20 Red Bulls and vodkas, maybe even 24. And so I was like, I'm going to get the record, So we start drinking. I'm drinking like 10 of them, 12 of them. And it kind of got dead at where we were at. Sometimes that side of town dies down. It's a little different speed. Paul's like, let's go out. Let's go to Scottsdale. Let's go hit the club or whatever. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go. I'm 10 Red Bull, 12 Red Bulls in. Let's go.
That's the thing about you, Mitch. You always ready to move. You know what I'm saying? You I like to move around, so.
Well, hey, what's it called? That's what the Red Bull does to you. Gives you what?
Gives you wings.
And so we hit the clubs, whatever. Fun night. I even think, truthfully, we went and got Joe's Pizza afterwards, the late night spot.
Right.
It's always a place to be seen, and stuff, and grab some slices real quick. So we're heading back, and we're back on our side of town. And there happens to be the only one I've ever heard of, but a 24-hour Subway.
Yes.
There's a 24-hour Subway. And I tell Paul, hey, you know what? I'm good here. He's like, what? What are you talking about, man? You want me to? No, I'm cool. I'm just going to get in. I'll get an Uber. I'm cool. Bro, you sure? Hold on. You getting some Subway? Yeah, I need some Subway. Bro, you just had pizza. What are you talking about? That's the other thing. Red Bull gives you the munchies. And so anyway, I order my sandwich and my drink, and I sit down at the table.
Yeah. I mean, the interject there is I left you because I asked you if you wanted to ride home, and you said no. I'll walk home because he lived about a half a block down the street. So I was like, okay, Mitch will get home. No problem.
Uber or whatever. I'm good. Good.
So.
It's a Subway. I mean, what could happen? It's a Subway.
It's a Subway, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Eat fresh, baby.
And so, what's it called? So, order my food, ready, whatever. Next thing I know, I got my arm on my forehead's in my arm. I look up. My sandwich is on the table. The drink's next to me. I still got my jewelry on from the clubs or whatever. I look and the employee's staring at me. And I notice it's daylight.
So we've gone from night to morning now at this point.
And it's like 8:30 in the morning.
Yes.
And
you know how I found out about the story? It was crazy enough. It's from my kids. They came in and they were like, Dad, wake up. I was asleep from the night before. I was tired from the night before. My kids come in and wake me up. I said, what's going on? Uncle Mitch is going viral. I said, what has he done now? He was like, look, they pull up their Twitter. You had gone viral on Twitter. They had taken a picture of you with your head down, passed out, slumped.
Slumped in the chair.
And what was the?
Are you enjoying your sandwich, sir?
Oh my God! Oh my gosh! I called it, dude, immediately. And it was. I think I wasn't the only one that called you because I think you knew exactly what I was calling you about.
Oh well, first of all, I didn't know how you knew yet.
Right.
But first of all, I did. just to tell the full disclosure, I woke up, I looked, the dude looking at me, I go, my bad, dude. I gave the dude like $40. Here you go. I went outside, ate my sandwich, called the Uber, and posted on Facebook. Damn, woke up in Subway and took a picture of the sunlight. It's the sunlight. So I owned it. So there is a post on Facebook of me saying at 8:30 in the morning, waiting for my Uber, passed out at Subway, ha, 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 whatever, right? So later afternoon after I sleep for about 6 hours, and you sleep, if anybody ever does Red Bull and vodka, you sleep like a crackhead. Like you seriously twitch and shake. Yeah.
Sweats.
All I can say is think of, one
You
word.
speaking from experience?
Pookie. Think of Pookie from New Jack City. But with that said, so I go, I want to go back to the bar, watch Sunday football. So I go back to the bar, and about the time you're about to text me or call me or whatever, I'm at the hub again, watching Sunday football. And I actually had a bartender say something to me about Subway, and I didn't think anything of it. Then some lady goes up, are you going to get Subway today? And I'm like, what the hell is everybody talking about? I'm like, oh, shit. And then by that time, you call me and let me know that that kid had posted that and people had reposted it.
Right.
I even had Big Frank, the principal of school, go, my students say, look at this guy that passed out. Oh, that's my boy. So yeah, that's this. And then what made matters worse is, so other people, we won't mention names, but grabbed the Twitter photo and then started superimposing Jared behind me.
With the milk mustache.
Yeah, with the milk mustache. And then that went crazy on like Facebook and on Instagram and stuff. And then it even, to add insult to injury, like a couple of years later after this whole event, because it's always a funny thing, people always remember. Like I have people come up to me, that's still the funniest picture I've ever seen, that Subway picture, whatever, cool. Even at the inauguration for the last president, what's it called? The whole, when Bernie Sanders was wearing the wool mitts and stuff. Somebody put Bernie Sanders behind me on that photo and then reposted the photo again.
I know nothing about that one.
Oh my gosh.
So
We take that picture out usually about once a year. It gets posted somewhere, and everybody gets a good laugh out of it. It's still one of the craziest stories I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was one of them stories where he said, "My life is a movie," and get your popcorn out. That was that night.
that one was a comedy.
That was definitely
That was a comedy.
That's a comedy, drama,
Yes.
suspense,
Yes, that was
all wrapped up into one.
all one. Nah, speaking of movies, but man, I just finished watching Avatar, and I was highly impressed because normally like a sequel, especially a great movie like that, and then after all these years coming back, I was really impressed how they brought the old story into the new story, and
Speaking of AI.
and they did it very well. I mean, I didn't like it as much as the first movie, but it was a good movie, and so. Shout out to the people, who did Avatar. They definitely did a great job because normally, sequels are really not that good. I mean, it's probably a handful of movies that have sequels that you could say. I mean, Rush Hour is probably one of them. Maybe Friday 2, would be another one. But, normally, sequels aren't really
John
good.
Wick?
Yeah. I mean, John Wick, yeah.
And the Denzel one too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Equalizer.
Equalizer.
But it was pretty good. So, but no, I was highly impressed. Nick, is there any movies that you?
Yeah, I'm speaking of sequels, one of my favorite movies is the Mission Impossible movies, and they got the Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Part 2, possibly going to be the last of the series coming out this year and then in 2024. I'm just looking forward to those. I like the action packed with the suspense, and they show a lot of the cool like spy technology that, stuff that they show. And then all of a sudden, you hear about it 2-3 years
That's
later.
gonna be the last year of Mission Impossible.
Well, next year will be there. It's the last episode's going to be in 2 parts.
Got you.
So they've been filming them both back to back.
Tom Cruise must be getting old, huh? He can't do
Tom
something.
Cruise is getting old, but he's still jumping out of planes and
Right,
all
going
kinds of
his own-
That
craziness.
adrenaline will do that for you.
Yeah. I mean, he's small though. He's like 5'2", so it doesn't really, he's tiny. He doesn't get hurt that much.
Him and Jackie Chan doing their own stunts is crazy. So
Yeah. So really looking forward to those movies. I just think there hasn't been like a great action adventure out, probably since COVID that I've really seen. So I'm looking forward to these coming out and checking them out. And I'm gonna check them out as soon as they hit the theater. So
there you go, Mitch.
Well, like Nick had just said with COVID kind of changed the whole movie game. The movies, to be honest with you, is always, we talked about guilty pleasures last show, is a guilty pleasure of mine. Even when I ran my businesses, I'd always sneak out because they were in the malls and stuff with the stores.
Right.
I tell one of the employees, hey, I'll be right back. I got to go meet here. And I go downstairs and watch a movie real quick. Sometimes, hey, when you're stressed out, it's one of the few places that you can zone out.
Right.
Shut your phone off, not think because you're watching the screen. So, and I love movie theater popcorn. Movie theater popcorn is my go-to.
Yeah, man.
It's one of the favorite things in life for me. Like,
Let me just ask you, because I think it's a heated debate, Mitch. Butter or no butter?
You know what's crazy? I came into the game out here when I moved out here, no butter. I was so, I came in here no butter, and I just think butter tasted nasty. It was greasy. It was fake. And now I'm on that butter kick,
Okay.
But,
I don't like the butter, but I know people that'll have them layer the popcorn with that fake butter,
yes.
and I'm just like, you reach your hand in and it just comes out greasy, and you have to like have napkins just to wipe your hands off.
The more butter, the better. I love. I tell her to fill the bag up halfway, pour the butter in, and then put some more butter on top of that.
You're one of those people.
Yeah,
how about-
baby.
How
One
about
of those
this?
guys.
High cholesterol. I love that shit.
One of my, I don't know if you guys ever did this, but back in the day, this is old school, but one of my best friends in grammar school, his dad used to always looked after me, rest his soul, Mr. Beeman. But he used to take us to the movies all the time. And I remember he'd always he'd come by and he would make sure he was a lawyer. He made sure like everybody was always taken care of, sweetest man ever. And he would like, hey, Mitch, hold on, you got to get goobers in there, and he dumped like all these like the goobers, the chocolate covers, peanuts and stuff. Throw them in the popcorn and stuff. Have you ever had that?
No.
Yeah. You throw the goobers in there and mix it in there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually really good. It's almost like a candy corn, but with chocolate. So that was always something that was as a kid look forward to every once in a while. I'll go grab one of those just to almost pay tribute or homage.
You know what I miss about the theaters? The double feature. I remember back in the day as a kid getting dropped off at the movie theater at like 10 in the morning and getting picked up at like 4 in the afternoon, watching 2 movies back to back. I love that, man, as a kid.
Now we used to like movie hop. We'd plan it out and figure out what movie we could hop from. One movie get done. Sneak over to another theater, go sit down. That movie get done, sneak over to another theater, get done. You could watch 2 or 3 movies in one day.
The craziest part is back in the day, how many times it was old school before like big corporate came out and started trying to do things all the time and take advantage of the capitalism dollar. It was like, if you had a favorite movie, whether it was Karate Kid, let's say, or whatever, I'm trying to think of a 90s movie that was popular, whatever. I'm just trying to
Breakfast Club.
Yeah, Breakfast Club. That's 84, bro. But
Close enough.
But all I'm saying is you watch the movie like 10 times,
Right.
Like you watched it 10 times and you enjoyed it each time watching it. Now it's like, oh, one's cool. You know what I mean? If it's on Netflix or if it's on whatever else, I'll check it out again, certain ones. But not like that enthusiasm to watch it. Oh, yeah, cool. I'll watch it 10 times. You want to brag to your friends. Right. How many times have you seen Star Wars? I've seen it 10 times,
Well, I was back then. Going to the movies was actually the thing to do.
Yeah.
You would go with your family, your parents. You would go with your girlfriend. It was one of them social spots, and that's no longer the case because everything is so on demand right now. So it's people hardly go out the house. I like going to the movies now because certain movie theaters I go to, they got they bring the food to you. They bring your drinks to you. Some of them have the reclining chairs and stuff like that. So they try to make an experience going to the movie, and I appreciate it. Yes, that's right.
Some movie theaters still have bed bugs.
Whoa.
I don't know what theaters you're going to.
Yeah, exactly.
No, let me, as far as speaking of movies, so, COVID changed my whole, everybody's movie habits. Obviously, movies, that industry was struggling for a while, still probably is, still trying to recover. But so it's not like back in the day, I'm like, oh, cool, there's this movie. I can't wait to watch these. It's like, it seems like they're far and few between to the point where they're putting filler movies, old movies in, the theaters right now. But my list of 3 movies that I wanted to watch has been Creed, which I still haven't seen yet, the new Creed. Got to go watch John Wick, but I jumped both of those this weekend to watch Air.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
How was that?
Had to watch Air. Amazing. Now I'm going to be biased, but because that was kind of our era, and I remember every part of that in my own way. But there was so much that was told, and again, some of it's probably drama wise for the movie. But first of all, let me start with the cast was phenomenal. You had Ben Affleck as Phil Knight of Nike.
Oh wow.
I mean, you had Chris Tucker, which I didn't even think about when
Chris Tucker was in the movie?
Chris Tucker was in the movie.
What was his role?
He was one of the executives at Nike that, and I can't exactly remember, but I do know this, that when, first of all, here's the story behind that movie. Ben Affleck had just done, I just saw the interview today. He said he's been trying to get Chris Tucker in a movie for 25 years.
Really?
Yeah, and he said Chris Tucker, it's very difficult to work on movies with, like he just doesn't, he's very selective of the projects he does. But Chris Tucker actually knew the guy he was going to play at Nike. And Michael Jordan, when he heard Chris Tucker would do it, he said that guy at Nike is a part of the story. He has to be in it, so he okayed it,
Okay.
So, which I didn't know Jordan had that much say. I didn't really read up on that, but I guess Jordan had, obviously had to say in that movie. You don't see Jordan, and here's the funny thing for people, I'm not going to, I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but Jordan wins in the end.
You think?
And Nike does too.
It's like, what, about $1 billion?
So they really don't focus on Jordan. Like, he's like a shadow. You see the back of his head. You really don't see it's about the story, which, if it sounds like, it wouldn't be that interesting. Or, I mean, you're not seeing the action, but the behind the scenes for true fans or for people of that era. The other, okay, so you had Ben Affleck, you had Chris Tucker, you had Jason Bateman in the movie, you had obviously Matt Damon. There was, and then I can't even remember the name. What's the lady from the Violet, yeah, from the Queen, the Last Queen movie.
The Last Queen, yeah,
whatever.
And How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah, amazing actress. Yeah. And actually, what's crazy is I will always, where I remember from as the grandma on 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh, okay.
I always remember for that role and, expressed on. But yeah, she's
Violet
amazing.
Davis, that's her
name. Thank you. I definitely want to make sure she gets her props. She's an amazing actress. But yeah, she played Jordan's mom, and she did an amazing job. So it was set with the right actors. I mean, all-star studded cast, and then also it just really brought you back. The whole soundtrack. There was at least 10 different '80s songs.
Okay.
There was even a song, and I think I shared that with you, Nick. Right? I was like, I didn't even know it was from then. I used to hear it at the clubs in the early '90s. It was the I strut my stuff, whatever. I'm so. Let me go. I'm not going to sing it, but it was.
I'm trying to think. I remember we were talking to you about
we were talking about it. I'm like, that was early. But I guess it had a resurgence in the 90s, so it was at all the nightclubs. But it actually came out in, 83, which blows my mind. My mind. I didn't know that song existed until like 92, 93. But, and then it talked about, and I'll wrap this up, but yeah, it talked about the Jordan stats, what they had to do to get Michael Jordan, because Jordan was a big Adidas fan.
Okay.
In fact, I guess it was said in that movie that North Carolina was a Converse school, but Jordan would wear Adidas to practice. He would wear them all the way up until just the game time, and then put the Converse on.
Wow.
And so, obviously Converse was in the bidding war. Adidas was in the bidding war. They thought for sure they had them, And
at that time, Converse was like the big shoe. I mean,
for basketball.
For basketball.
Yeah, for sure.
And people didn't understand the concept. Adidas was getting the concept of Adidas was the hottest shoe on the street. Adidas, I mean, you had Run DMC. They were the first people that sang about, shoes for free.
My Adidas.
Like they didn't get paid for it, and everybody, and Adidas, I remember, were the hottest shoe. And so that's what Jordan, and he loved the tracksuits.
Right.
He loved their tracksuits. And so he was, was a done deal, but supposedly, Sonny Vaccaro, whatever his name was, backdoored the agent David Falk, talked to Jordan's mom, from advice from the Chris Tucker character. And that's how he was even able to land an interview, because Nike wasn't even on the radar back then. Their basketball division was in shambles. They were.
From my understanding, Jordan's mom is the one that forced, Jordan didn't even want to take the interview with Nike, and Jordan's mom forced them to fly out there just to hear their pitch.
Exactly.
And like I said, I haven't seen the story yet. I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet, but just from what I know is they were just so blown away by the presentation from Nike. They went with it.
And in the movie, and there's going to be a little bit difference between the movie and real life. I already caught a couple things in numbers, at the end of the movie, what they state compared to the actual numbers or what was reported. But one of the things that, I can't get over is Jordan's mom had the negotiation skills to talk to Nike about ownership.
Interesting.
About ownership. And it's worth watching. I mean, it's business 101 to watch this movie. It's history 101. It's a lot of different things. And it's musical education of the 80s, Definitely brings people back, or allows people that are younger to experience a time, to kind of almost see how you get to today. It's like a history lesson.
Right. Well, earlier when we were talking, you were telling me that that Magic Johnson dropped the ball on this kind of concept early, correct?
Yeah. So that is what speculation is, because you never know how the game would have worked, if it wasn't Jordan, but yeah. So when Magic Johnson came into the league, he was the hottest thing, him and Larry Bird, and so when he was working for his shoe deal, everybody was coming to the table. Converse was the big, Converse. At the time of Jordan, Converse had Magic, Bird, and Dr. J, the three best basketball players in the game, And back then, they had Dr. J. Dr. J was the hottest guy. So they're pitching both Magic and Bird, and, they're like, be part of the fold. I want to say that Magic's first contract, if I'm not mistaken, it was like for $100,000, I believe, It was for $100,000. Now, Nike, I guess Phil Knight came up to Magic and said, hey, look, I don't have that kind of money, but I can give you equity in the company. And then Magic was like, also, I want my own shoe. And at that time, even Jordan had to go through it, but that's how Nike got Jordan. They did his own shoe. Up to that point, nobody had their own shoes.
Wow. It
was, you wear the Converse that everybody else wears. You're not better than Dr. J. You're not better than this guy. Why would we make this shoe? It's the brand, And so Magic, though, got offered percentages of Nike. Some would say, according to the HBO show Showtime, they would say, I want to say they said $1 per shoe.
Wow.
Other people were talking about different numbers, but it's estimated that if Magic would have taken that deal, got his shoe with Nike, that he might have made about $5.2 billion over the course of that deal.
Wow.
And if it would have been different, I just wonder, what would sneakerheads do every Saturday morning instead of waiting outside Foot Locker? I mean, you know how much more productive they'd be?
But
well, hey, maybe they would have been,
Waiting outside for Magic shoes?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. There you go.
Magic's my favorite player.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Magic, let's not cry over Magic. He's
one of the best. He ran the 80s with Bird.
But he's a billionaire now.
Yeah.
Still. But again, one decision changes the course of history. So,
and it's crazy, like with the Jordan shoes, no athlete since has had the effect on on shoes. Everybody has their own signature shoe. LeBron does, KD does, Kyrie had one, but nobody's really had the effect. The only one that actually even came close to having an effect wasn't even really in basketball. It was Yeezy until he screwed that up. His shoes were some of the hottest things since Jordan's.
Right, true that. Yep.
What did he say? The Yeezy jumped over the jump man or something?
Yeah.
But one other thing too about that. So just to put it in perspective, so when Jordan did his deal, and basically Phil Knight put his balls on the table, went all in to get Jordan. They were saying that the projections were that they needed Jordan to do $3 million over 3 years.
Oh wow!
For that line, $3 million over 3 years, and supposedly the tally of the first year alone was $126 million.
They just needed $3 million over 3 years. Yeah. Goodness gracious! Those are staggering at that time. If you think about the money for that time, that's.
Oh, it's mind blowing, especially, and then and Nike. I'm gonna be honest, Nike, their power at that time, once they did the Spike Lee commercials, they did the Jordan shoe. They also agreed to pay the fines, knowing that the NBA wouldn't allow so much red. Which, speaking of which, I'm dating myself, but I went to a school when Jordan came out, whatever, a grammar school, whatever it was. That our uniforms were green. We looked like the Boston Celtics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And what school did you go to?
St. Vincent and Vallejo.
Okay.
So shout out the Saints out there.
Rep your school, baby.
And I'm glad the best decision my mom ever made was to ship me out there, because I've been running around damn many with the other knuckleheads in my neighborhood. I still did on the weekends, but it balanced my yin and yang.
One of these episodes we're gonna get into some of them knucklehead stories.
I thought we did already.
Nah, we got a lot more.
But so I remember our coach, who was one of my good friends' dads. The Jordans were coming out, and we're trying to figure out, our shoes and stuff. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the Jordans or whatever, And they were black. There was really two versions that people really saw: the black and the red and the white were the two most popular, because they were the Bulls colors. There was a blue and black, which and then there was an all white version. Also something that people don't remember in the times. Air was only available to people with bigger feet. The kids' shoes was called Sky Jordan.
Oh wow, I didn't
I
know.
don't know if people know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Because we used to make fun of people. Oh, you got the Sky Jordans, whatever. And then there was also a canvas version. And I feel bad, but back then you're like, oh, you got the canvas ones. It was, kind of weak. But
And now they're all vintage.
oh shit, I wish I had the canvas ones. I wish I had the Sky ones because I've never seen a pair of Sky Jordans in my face since that year. But so I talked to my friend. And he goes, "Hey Mitch, whatever you do, you can't get the colored Jordans because my dad said we're not going to go with that color. That's going to clash, etc." So I went and got the white ones like a good little kid, and got all the white Air Jordans. Now I did buy the black sweatsuit. I still have that. I'll bring it on the show one day. Show you. I still got
Still
the
fit in it?
Your glasses fit in it.
Yeah, one of his arms fits in that damn thing.
And so I got the white ones. True story too. And but I did get the sweatsuit, whatever. With the zip down Jordan wing in the back or whatever. I think I'm fresh in the layup line. I'm the only person that had it too. But I had the white Jordans on. The kid that told me his dad said we couldn't, do that, shows up in the black and red Jordans. True story.
Got him.
Got him, coach. That sounds like a setup. Definitely. But man, let's continue on with on the sports tip. Man, we got a lot of things that are going on. A lot of things going on in sports right now. First of all, just signed Jake Paul and Nate Diaz. That fight's going to happen. Okay,
That's today.
Yeah. So who you got in this fight? This is going to be, celebrity boxing is like the thing to do. I would definitely, take. I don't know who the hell would take on, but I'd love.
Well, let's get these podcast numbers up.
for sure. Then we take on somebody. But now, who would you like? Who do you think's going to win this fight?
First, I got to know if it's real or not. But I'm rooting. I'll just say this: I'm rooting for Nate Diaz all day.
Right.
Northern California, Stockton. What's up?
I mean, Nate Diaz is a beast. He could take a punch. So I think I don't even think it's gonna be close.
Really?
I don't think it's gonna be close.
He's
He's a brawler. I mean, he's a street fighter first and foremost. So he knows how to throw hands. So I don't think Jake Paul's ever seen anything like that.
I don't. The thing about Jake Paul is I feel like everybody underestimates this kid, and somehow he comes out, regardless on if he loses or win, he always comes out a winner. I mean, regardless on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of them YouTubers that have, I think I was talking about this today. He's one of them YouTubers that have just, figured out this game and just monopolized on it. And
He's like the 6ix9ine of Disney.
I just wonder, are the other two brothers going to fight? Nick Diaz and the other Paul brother?
Yeah.
They're going to fight after the fact or what?
I mean, that'd be some good pub, but no, I'm just, I got to take my hat off to the kid. I actually think it's going to be, a good fight because the kid could actually fight.
He's not. I mean, all hate aside,
he's not a slouch or
he's
anything.
not a bad boxer. He's in shape. He knows technique.
Oh, he's definitely taking it serious. It's not like some of these celebrity boxing where they're in there falling over each other and throwing wild punches.
and here's the thing.
He actually has some skill.
Right.
And like I said, I want Diaz, and I know Diaz would whoop his ass. Obviously, I'd say in a street fight, in a UFC fight, and an MMA fight. Mm-hmm. It remains to be seen in a boxing match. I mean, he's unorthodox. Unorthodox can only get you so far boxing. I could see him getting disqualified.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be interesting, and it's gonna be a great payday for Diaz, which he deserves.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. What do you think about that other fight coming up, the Garcia Tank Davis fight?
Ooh, yes, man.
I can't wait for that. Can we get a sound on that?
Yeah, definitely. That is one I've been looking for.
Fight of the year.
Yes, I think this is going to be fight of the year. I'm actually questioning if I should fly out to Vegas just for this one because just for the night because this is going to be one. I think this is going to be one of them epic fights.
And watch it at the bar.
No, bro, I'm gonna be at the T-Mobile Arena, watching these guys. Trade punches. I think.
Sure you don't want to go to the hub?
Nah, definitely not. But I think with Garcia's speed, and then with Tank's power, and Tank's got speed too. It's one of them intriguing fights that, everybody's been waiting for, and it's one of them fights where, where Dana White does a great job on the UFC is matching fighters together. It's one of those matchups that you get in boxing that fans yearn for, and I'm so looking forward to this fight. But I do got Tank I don't know if it's going to go decision though. I think he's going to wear Garcia down, and it's going to be TKO in the 8th. So
Wow, you putting money on that?
yeah, I think I am going to put a little bread on that. I can't tell you how much, but I'm going to put a little bread on that. So
I mean, I love the fact that they're fighting and they're both somewhat still in their prime. Usually, you get these fights long after the fighters are relevant or as they're on the downside of their career, and these guys are still at the top of their game. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm just a big boxing fan in general. I watched some of the Shakur Stevens fight last weekend. He dominated pretty well. So there's a lot of good up and coming boxers. Some young, fresh talent that's putting my faith back in boxing. I went away from boxing for a while, went into UFC because it seemed like better fights, was more exciting. But with some of these names that are coming up and are really showing how good they are, I'm starting to get my itch for boxing again.
definitely.
I'll just say real quick, I'm gonna just enjoy this fight. I'm a fan. I'll say this of both fighters. When you do something at the highest level, I can't do anything but respect that, and look forward to this showcase. I'll tell you what, if they fought 10 times, I think you'd have it'd be 6-4. I really think because Styles win fights, we're going to see how this works out.
Right.
But Tank Davis, he's one of those. He's like he's almost like the Chuck Liddell. And not it's like you can't, all he's doing is trying to catch you.
Right.
And he can. I think Ryan Garcia is going to be up on points. He's super fast. He's got that left. He's got that jab. He's got the reach.
Right.
But we still have to question: does he have the chin?
The chin, exactly. That's what I'm saying. When if Tank catches him, it's lights out.
If
Lights
Tank
out.
catches anybody,
Right.
and like I said, I'm rooting for Ryan Garcia. To be honest with you,
Interesting. Okay.
and he's actually a big underdog considering odds wise, but I throw some money on him. I'm gonna be nervous the whole time because you could win 11 rounds and hey, guess what? Tank hits you with one.
Right. Maybe I'll stay home and have the fight at the house. That way, you're rooting for Garcia, I'm rooting for Tank, and then
And we broadcast it live on the podcast.
there you go. Hey, broadcast a live for me, the fight. That kind of be dope. We might think
I'll
about
have
that.
to do that YouTube Live, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of big money, our boy Odell Beckham just signed 1 year, $18 million. With the Ravens. Does that change things for Lamar Jackson in Baltimore?
I think it's got to. Again, I do feel he's kind of slighted and disrespected, personally. What more does this guy need to do? He banks on himself, and they still don't want to pay him. I'm getting tired of that stuff. Personally, the salaries are what they are. But everybody's getting paid their scale. This guy is their whole freaking team, as far as I'm concerned. As far as they go, as far as he goes, that's what I should say. Give him a wide receiver. The best wide receiver he's had is Hollywood Brown. Now you got Odell. I hope Odell can last a season, and I hope they draft somebody to, you give him Andrews, Odell, and give him a young rookie speedster. Hey, I think,
So does Lamar sit out? Do you think he sits out this year, or does he take?
What's it, 29 mil?
Yeah, 29 mil. For the year.
Yeah.
They franchise tagged him, so he's got paid the average of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. So it's around $25-30 million. Does he take that for the 1 year?
He should.
Prove
Don't
himself.
get me wrong. He's already proven himself, and he sat out and banked on it. Instead of taking their deal earlier, he played for for this contract, and then now they're gonna freeze him out. I still think you play though. You don't leave 29 on the table, and you don't, and if you got the weapon, finally you show people what you're worth, and then just write your ticket.
I got you. Just talking about Lamar, I'm really disappointed in a lot of NFL teams because a lot of NFL teams that needed quarterbacks. Lamar is sitting there, and you could have picked him up for relatively nothing compared to some of these rookies that you're going to take a risk on. It just didn't make sense to me, and I did not understand what was going on with GM or team owners. You got a proven guy right there that you can pick up on the cheap, and you pass on them. I don't know.
They still would have taken 2 first rounders, right?
It's called collusion.
Yes, and that's what I ain't want to go there, Nick. But that's why I see.
I'll go there. I don't have an NFL pension. So.
I just see it's like, man, I just feel like they're working against us, man. I don't know, but I think Lamar's gonna come out in the end. I think the fan base is definitely, behind him. He's just one of phenomenal athletes. He's one of these transcending players.
Was that with the pronouns? Oh no, that's different trend.
Hey, I hate to say this, but I think the salaries are really going to change, and it's not going to be Lamar that's going to do it. It's going to be Joe Burrow. Unfortunately, I think that
What do you think? Joe Burrow's going to break
Joe
the brand?
Burrow's going to probably be the highest paid quarterback ever come next year,
And then Joey,
So, but
and it'll be fully guaranteed.
Well, what? Mahomes is half $500 million?
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking fully guaranteed too. So
Fully guaranteed.
yeah, I'm talking Burrow $50 million a year, fully guaranteed.
And
for
then,
as
and then
many
guess
years
what?
as they
Then when
sign.
Lawrence re-ups, it'll be on him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I think Joe Burrow's the one to get a team to. If anybody's going to do it, I know Deshaun Watson got his fully guaranteed, but I think that was
He got a lot of things.
Yeah, I think that was more of desperation than anything.
Well, I mean, he's got to win a chip first before. Any GM that has any kind of brain, Joe Burrows has to win a championship first, and before you're going to fully guarantee a contract. If a team owner or a GM does that before he wins a championship, they need to run him out of the city. It's plain.
I think it's going to happen though.
I don't know.
Cincinnati hasn't been relevant in a long time, and Joe Burrow's made him relevant
back to back,
back
yeah.
to back. So
He does remind me. He's Tom Brady-ish, in my opinion.
Tom Brady, or even a old school Joe Montana-ish.
Well, Tom Brady got some rings on his finger.
Well,
Yeah,
Burrow
how
has
long's Joe
zero.
Burrow been in the league too? And
All he has to do is find a witch as a wife like Giselle.
Oh, whoa, slow it down now.
I said witch.
Slow it
Hey,
down.
Brady, go Google it. He said it himself.
Slow it down. But no, let's which wow. Anyway, let's talk about baseball. Baseball season started.
Have you seen my baseball?
Ken.
Yeah, shout out to kids about us. But no, baseball season, and this has been kind of like kind of surprising. You got the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They're 12-0.
Yeah, they're smashing it.
One away from the modern day record of most wins to start a season.
And then you got some rule changes. You got the pitch clock.
I'm glad that just makes the games go by faster.
Yeah, it's speeding it up, but I think it's going to also create more scoring in the game because basically pitchers can't sit there and
Stall you out.
Yeah, stall out the
Or
batters.
stall out the
And
fans.
batters can't stall out either, keep stepping out of the box every 2 seconds. So I think it helps on both ends, really, and just makes the game quicker.
Exactly, and you able still to.
Oh, yeah. No, my favorite thing about the whole thing about the pitch clock is that you can drink in the 8th inning.
Well, only in the Brewers Stadium right now, but other teams are looking at it.
Well, that's where I'm going to drink. And in the other places, I'll just go to the bar, drink in the parking lot.
I love it.
Mitch just became an instant Brewers fan.
Right? Yeah, he's like, I think they were here. I think they were here this past weekend. So, but D-backs beat them. Shout out to my D-backs too, man. That's they're surprising me a little early too. I think they need to get some hitting. So they figured that out. And
A young kid they got probably be rookie of the year this year. So
yeah, so
Carroll.
I'm excited. I'm definitely going to catch some games this year. So y'all keep up the good work out there. But all right, well, let's get into thought of the day. Nick, what you got for me, man?
So my thought of the day, I know we joke, call me Greedy Nick. Little backstory on that, I had placed a $10 bet one drunken night.
Hey, I just want to say real quick, just so you know, the person that gave you that nickname, I'll let you tell the story, but he was like, I got to get on the show and, talk about how Greedy Nick got his name. So shout out to, I'll let you go.
Shout out to B-Rod out there.
B-Rod from the Goodfellas.
So I was drunk out at dinner with a friend, and I just threw $10 down on three long. There was three games like going into halftime. All three teams were down like 20 or more points. And I was like, I'm just going to take all three. And it was like $10 to win $2,500. Not thinking anything is going to happen. Well, we leave, and I get to meet some friends, Mitch and some people out in Gilbert. And the first game ends, and the team comes back and wins on a buzzer beater. And I'm like, oh, cow, the first team won of the three. And they started offering me like $140 buyout on $10. And I'm like, no. So then the second bet comes, the second game comes, and that team comes all the way back, and they ended up winning by like 3 last minute of the game. They come back and win. So now it gets interesting because now there's only one game left, and it's like getting into the fourth quarter. And
I remember the game too. It was the Bulls versus the Bucks.
Bucks, and they're offering me, and I think I had the Bulls, and and they're offering me like $400 or $500, and it's back and forth, and then it's pushing like in the fourth quarter, the Bulls go up like 3 or 4, and at one point, Mitch and B-Rod are like, man, if you get an offer of like $1,000, you just got to cash out. And I go inside to the bar and I'm drinking, and I think the Bulls went up like 6 at that point. And I looked down at my phone and they offered me like $1,025 on a $10 bet. And I just ordered my drink and kept drinking and didn't hit the buyout and just kept watching. Came back out and told the guys, oh yeah, they just offered me $1,000. I passed on it.
I'm still cussing.
And shortly after that, Milwaukee went on a run. And next thing I know, Milwaukee's up like 6. And the buyout's down to like 300. So at this point, I'm like, shit, I'm just going to try to get anything I can. So I try to do the buyout. And of course, the app says, sorry, we don't recognize that you're in an area that you can place a wager. So I'm trying to do everything. I reset the app like 3 times. I finally restart my phone. By the time I get back, Bulls are down like 12. There's like 2 minutes left and the buyout is 0. So.
And me and B-Rod are laughing.
Shout out to Greedy Nick.
So Greedy Nick. So my thought of the day, take your profit while you can.
There you go.
You know, it's not every play you're going to make, and not everything you're going to do in life is going to be a home run. Somebody's got to hit some singles and some doubles. So don't be disappointed if the investment that you make just turns out to be okay, because that's a lot better than a lot of other people are doing out there. So don't be upset if things just turn out to be just okay or just good. Not everything's going to be a home run. That's my thought today.
There you go. Mitchell.
Okay, my thought of the day is going to be, I'm going to tell people, to kind of snap out of your trance. I think we walk around in this world, asleep, or programmed to sleep. Like I wish I could go up to people, like you ever watch the movie Dinner with Schmucks?
Yes.
You are released. I want to go up to people and say that to them.
You're naughty purse.
In fact, I'm gonna do that when we're done with the show. See how that works. But like for example, okay, we all know Apple, biggest company, one of the biggest companies out there. In fact, we were talking about them earlier about AI. All right, what's their logo?
The apple, the bite out of it.
Yeah, the bite out of the apple. Okay, for years and years and years, even myself, I didn't even put two together. 2 and 2 together. The bite of the apple, symbolic for the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve. Eve takes the bite out of the apple, right? Okay. And people go, yeah, true, but it's just playing on that. That's brilliant, and et cetera, right? Okay, cool. But did you know that the original Apple ad that came out in 1976 out of the Bay Area in Palo Alto with Steve Jobs, and I can't remember who the other gentleman was. I can't. He's slipping on.
Wozniak or something like that?
Are we talking about the dude that bailed out after 2 weeks? Or
no, the guy, I think he ended up going to like Microsoft or something at one point.
Okay, yeah, no, I think you're right. Wow, okay.
Wozniak.
Okay, so yeah, Wozniak. So anyway, in 1976, the first ad, and go ahead and Google this. The first Apple ad, what's the price of the first computer, right? Considering we're doing the Garden of Eden Apple symbolism, right? Mm-hmm. The first price of the Apple computer in 1976 was $666.66.
Oh, wow.
What do my coincidence theorists have to say about that?
What are you trying to say? Market of beast?
All I'm saying is, man, at a certain point, people need to snap out of this and, and just at least understand. I mean, if that's on you to not care, okay, that's your decision. Cool. But what they say about, what DMX say once, it's dark and hell is hot, And then I'll just say one more thing to kind of the same trend, and I could go on, and I'll touch on other stuff later. I always say that, but like you take the Dodge logo, right? The Ram.
Yep.
Looks more like the Baphomet. Like if you actually break it down, there's people that talk about that too, and it's interesting that they're souped up cars called the Hellcat. I mean, people just want to say these things are coincidence. Again, coincidence theorists. Whatever. But I'm telling you, snap out of it. You are released.
There you go.
That's my thought of the day.
You're released. My thought of the day is with, social media, being so big as it is, and, people who are on social media and looking at other people's lives and stuff like that, is the grass is not always greener on the other side. You know, sometimes that grass is artificial turf. So if you think about it,
You bust an ankle?
yeah, you know, so
There's no grass at all.
exactly. It's better to water your side of your grass, okay, and worry about yourself. As we know, is we can put anything out there and make everything look, you know, we could have everybody, you know, think that, you know, we're all running around millionaires and with, you know, these rented cars and all that stuff like that. It's all fugazi. So don't worry about that. Don't get caught up in all this hype. You know, just be appreciative of what you got, and like I said, you know, be thankful and thank God for the life He's given you. So that's all I got for this. You know, episode 5. We out.
Books.
Thank you.